thinking probably that he would not give way, the representative of the planters offered to refund to the extent of 25%. And to his amazement, Mr. Gandhi took him at his word, thus breaking the deadlock. Now, the planters, that is the landlords, they were very clever. They sent their agents, representatives are agents, who tried to bargain. They offered to refund only 25%. They thought Gandhi will not agree and the matter will linger on and there will be a deadlock. So the landlords will not have to pay anything then. But to their amazement, to their surprise, Mr. Gandhi took him at his word and he agreed. He agreed. When the agents offered 25%, Gandhiji agreed. They said okay. He said okay, pay 25% only, thus breaking the deadlock. He broke the deadlock like this so that the matter would not linger on. This settlement was adopted unanimously by the commission. Now the commission accepted this decision unanimously, that is, all of them agreed. Gandhi explained that the amount of the refund was less important than the fact that the landlords had been obliged to surrender part of the money and with it part of their prestige. So Gandhiji, he said that, he explained to the sharecroppers that though the amount that the landlords were going to refund was less, but Gandhiji explained that even then the refund was not important. The refund was not important. What was important was that the landlords had to admit that they had done wrong and they had to surrender, return some part of the money which they had wrongly taken, and they had to compromise with their prestige also. Otherwise, the landlords were very arrogant people. They would never admit their faults also, but here they had to compromise their prestige also. Therefore, as far as the peasants were concerned, the planters had behaved as lords above the law. So here the landlords, they had behaved as if they were above the law. They were not within the law. Now the peasant saw that he had rights and defenders. He learnt courage. The peasants clearly saw that even the landlords whom they feared so much were within the laws. Even they had to obey the laws. If they did wrong, the peasants can also stand against them and fight and win also. Events justified Gandhi's position. Within a few years, the British planters abandoned their estates, which reverted to the peasants. Indigo sharecropping disappeared. Now, events later on, they justified Gandhi's position. Whatever Gandhi's position was, he had taken a position against the Britishers and he had told them that he himself was not an outsider. It was they who were the outsiders. So the situation was brought upon by the Britishers themselves by telling Gandhi that he was an outsider in Bihar, in Champaran. Gandhiji had told the Britishers that they were outsiders and they will have to leave India. So gradually the events justified Gandhi's position, and within a few years the British planters, they left their estates and the land reverted back to peasants. Indigo sharecropping disappeared. After that, indigo sharecropping itself disappeared. Gandhi never contented himself with large political or economic solutions. He saw the cultural and social backwardness in the Champaran villages and wanted to do something about it immediately. Now Gandhiji, he was never satisfied with himself with all these large political and economic solutions. He had a broader outlook. he saw the cultural and social backwardness in the Champaran villages and wanted to do something about it immediately. He appealed for teachers. There was large scale illiteracy there. So he appealed for teachers. Mahadev Desai and Narhari Parekh, two young men who had just joined Gandhi as disciples, that is, they both were Gandhiji's followers, and their wives volunteered for the work. They volunteered to educate the people in Champaran. Several more came from Bombay, Pune, and other distant parts of the land. So, several other people also came there to help. Devdas, Gandhi's youngest son, arrived from the ashram, and so did Mrs. Gandhi. Gandhiji's son Devdas, youngest son, and his wife Mrs. Gandhi also came there. Primary schools were opened in 6 villages. Kasturba taught the ashram rules on personal cleanliness and community sanitation. She took the task of teaching hygiene, personal hygiene to the women in Champaran. Health conditions were miserable. Gandhi got a doctor to volunteer his services for 6 months. Gandhi also appealed to a doctor, and a doctor agreed to go there and give services there for 6 months. 3 medicines were available: castor oil, quinine, and sulfur ointment. Anybody who showed a coated tongue was given a dose of castor oil. Now, anybody who had a coated white and cream colored coating on their tongue, that person was given castor oil. Anybody with malaria fever received quinine plus castor oil. So, quinine and castor oil was given to the people who suffered from malaria fever. Anybody with skin eruptions received ointment plus castor oil. Now, these were the 3 treatments which were given to the people. Anybody who had skin eruptions, some skin problem, they were given ointment plus castor oil. Gandhi noticed the filthy state of women's clothes. He noticed that the women, they wore very dirty clothes. He asked Kasturba to talk to them about it. One woman took Kasturba into her hut and said, "Look, there is no box or cupboard here for clothes. The sari I am wearing is the only one I have." The extent of poverty was so much. The woman took Kasturba to her house, to her hut, and showed her that she did not have any box or cupboard in which she could keep any clothes, and she told her that she had only one sari which she was wearing. During his long stay in Champaran, Gandhi kept a long distance watch on the ashram. During his stay in Champaran, Gandhiji also kept a watch on the ashram, activities going on in the ashram. He sent regular instructions by mail and asked for financial accounts. He checked the financial accounts also of the ashram and also gave instructions by mail. Once he wrote to the residents that it was time to fill in the old latrine trenches and dig new ones, otherwise the old ones would begin to smell bad. So he kept track of whatever was going on in the ashram also, and he told the people, directed the people to get trenches dug, because the old trenches would be full and they would start smelling bad. The Champaran episode was a turning point in Gandhi's life. What I did, he explained, was a very ordinary thing. I declared that the British could not order me about in my own country. So, according to Gandhiji, Champaran episode was a turning point in Gandhi's life. It was a major turning point. What I did, he explained, was a very ordinary thing. It was not something thought about before itself. It was a very spontaneous and a very ordinary thing, very natural thing which he did. I declared that the British could not order me about in my own country. Now, when the officers in Champaran told Gandhi that he was an outsider, Gandhiji made it very clear that he was not the outsider, it was they who were the outsiders. But Champaran did not begin as an act of defiance. It grew out of an attempt to elevate the distress of large numbers of poor peasants. This was the typical Gandhi pattern. Now, Gandhiji, he had not started all this in Champaran as an act of disobedience, defiance. He did not have any such thing in his mind before itself. He did not have all this pre planned. It grew out of an attempt, it culminated, it grew out of an attempt to elevate, to lessen the distress of large number of poor peasants. He actually had gone there to reduce, to give respite to the poor peasants who were suffering. He did not go there to confront the government officials or the government as such. He actually went there to help the poor people. It was a social call. This was the typical Gandhi pattern. He was not a political person. His acts were more social in nature. He tried to elevate, he tried to reduce, he tried to lessen the problems of the people. His nature was social in kind, but it got entangled into political and economic spheres also. His politics were intertwined with the practical day-to-day problems of the billions. He tried to solve the day-to-day problems of the people, but that got intertwined, entangled with the political aspects also. This was not a loyalty to abstractions, it was a loyalty to living human beings.